Staying with us, we're going to start with The Nation. Mixed fortunes for APC, PDP, Labour at tribunals. Accounting icon Akintola Williams dies at 104. 11 feared killed in Plateau. UAE lifts visa restriction on Nigerian travelers. Zenith Bank makes 967 billion naira half-year gross earnings. Federal varsities to get full financial autonomy. And Edo relocates Shuebu's office outside government house. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Trending story yesterday. Of course, the UAE ban that lifted. YK took it.
I have it.
So I left it. And commendably, we saw leadership play out. We remember the ban, the way they treated us as if...
Yes.
But when the president showed up, it was an immediate lifting of the ban. And that, for me, is highly commendable. The spokesperson of the president was saying, you know, this means that flights going in and out and, you know, the Emirates flight airlines, they'll be able to resume inbound and, you know, outbound flights in Nigeria as well without delay.
Governors cannot be rocket science anyway.
So, the Edo State Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, and his aides have been relocated to
the backyards.
They have been to number 7 Dennis Osadebe Avenue, GRA. It has a green front.
Very beautiful environment.
It's actually a nice, very nice house. You know?
So.
And the newly renovated building has the deputy governor's inscription, and it's not too far from the government's house. It's seen at the entrance of the one-story building is an inauguration plaque with the inscription Edo State Public Procurement Agency. This building was actually commissioned by the Edo State former governor, is now Senator Adams Oshemole. And the Philip Shaibu has actually withdrawn his suit. This came on the heels of him withdrawing his suit against the governor, saying the governor was trying to impeach him. And he says, I sincerely wish to thank and appreciate well-meaning Nigerians, party leaders, traditional rulers, and my Archbishop and His Grace, Most Reverend Dr. Augustus Akubeze, for their kind words, advice, and encouragement thus far, and ensuring peace and unity in our dear state, Edo. I also wish to record my special thanks to my governor, my boss, and senior brother for this path.
Okay, it's not sounding like that to me. It's sounding like the landlord have evicted the tenant.
No, I'm saying what he...
Can I move on?
Following the orders of the governor, even though he had withdrawn his suit at the Federal High Court.
I actually watched his brother, the governor's brother. Yes. That one too speaks big English like governor.
Okay. Federal versus are proposed new creative means of funding tertiary institutions. So we have the Education Minister, Tahir Mamman, was saying yesterday that the president had expressed the need to allocate 25% of the budget to raise, to raise the education budget by 25%. He also said that they are also allowing tertiary institutions to have financial autonomy. What that means is that the president is determined, among others, to initiate a new creative means of funding tertiary institutions by granting universities to explore new sources of financing their activities. So if a university can actually begin to look for both local and international funding to help support the activity of the university, which is a good thing, because it means that once you have autonomy, you can find money, so
you can negotiate.
You can negotiate and be as resourceful as you can, because if you have the means to get support from different parts of the world, that's a good thing.
So there's enough money hanging around the universities if they are given the free will to be able to negotiate and sort that out. Good news for those that are living in Sokoto State, actually a few places around the north. The Vice President Shetima was ahead of the distribution of 11 billion worth vehicles that was being distributed in by the Sokoto state government. He also kicked off the distribution of 5 billion naira worth of assorted grains as palliatives to the poor and vulnerable people in the state. He said that the federal government would also be doing their own, would also be coming with more palliatives to help cushion the burden that has come on general economic hardship based on the removal of fuel subsidy. But he also spoke up, he was appreciated by the governor of Sokoto State, Ahmed Aliyu, because he showed up. He said that he spoke extensively about the fact that the grains will be distributed across 23 local government areas of the state, and according to him, beneficiaries will be non-partisan. It will not be based on whether they have political affiliations or anything. Also, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum yesterday also unveiled 70 buses for metro transportation to ease movement of civil servants across the state from their places of work. Then he said another initiative to ease the burden on people based on removal of fuel subsidy. Different states actually within the north are unveiling different things that they're doing, but the newspaper Nation carried what Zulum is doing in Borno, which is the 70 buses available, and what Governor Ahmed Aliyu is doing in Sokoto that had the vice president present. Also, the Nasarawa state governor has released payment of palliatives to people, 10,000, 5,000 naira to civil servants and pensioners within the state. So 10,000 to civil servants, 5,000 naira to pensioners within the state to cushion the burden of subsidy removal. So we're seeing how the some states are spending their money. We'd like to see more states do a press release to cover how they are spending their money as well, so that some other state citizens will not be getting jealous of how money is getting to some people and not coming to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me move on quickly now to the Punch. Tinubu special investigator for CBN audited reports. Obasanjo, governors mourn as doyen of accounting Williams, dies at 104. Court remands jealous lover for killing girlfriend. 2.9 billion naira fraud, Jonathan's godson, 2 others jailed 6 years. Corruption, biggest hindrance to Nigeria's democratic development, says Global Report. Pengasine reacts as Dangote refinery misses production deadline. Morocco earthquake death toll hits 2,700, and operators excited as UAE lifts the visa ban on Nigerians. Let me start with the major headlines. So if you remember, our president had appointed a special investigator to actually go and investigate CBN. According to, if you recall, they're supposed to investigate CBN and related entities using their experience, competence, and capable team to work with relevant security and anti-corruption agencies to deliver on the assignment the president gave them. So looking at all the discrepancies in CBN. However, the special investigator has now said that CBN would have to withdraw their 7-year financial accounts because of irregularities, discrepancies that were discovered in the I think it's 2016 to 2022. So that period, there were lots of discrepancies and lots of irregularities in the financial accounts. So CBN would have to withdraw it officially and then probably give them something better, because the special investigator, this is a man, I can't remember, Obazi, I believe, he was personally appointed by the president himself to specially investigate CBN and all their financial activities in the past few years. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, there are a lot of stakeholders that are jittery because of this, but we'll see how that. Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Who has a story, YK? The human interest story.
I have the human interest story. The court remands jealous lover for killing his girlfriend. Apparently, his name is Samuel Adeniyi. His girlfriend, he killed her because she was cheating. According to him, he felt she was cheating. She was the nanny in the house. She left the nanny at home and went out to buy a recharge card, and she was gone for hours. And when he came back, where did you go? And she was like, I went to go and buy a recharge card. He just, in his annoyance, he just took sledgehammer.
Hey,
come! I'm telling you.
Sledgehammer.
Knocked her head. The people that they were working for rushed her to the hospital, but she was dead already.
Oh.
And him, he fled, but they found him, and he's...
Even if she was cheating.
See, you deal with those things as children. I know what I'm facing with my children. My children to react in anger, and I am forcing them that you must control. You cannot lash out, because that's what will make an adult use a sledgehammer on another human being. You cannot control themselves.
It's just a fit of anger, and he has destroyed his life, destroyed her life.
And that story,
and ended her own.
I have the Morocco earthquake. According to the Punch, death toll has risen to 2,700, but rescuers are actively working. But one thing that is working against them, according to the report, is the structure of the traditional mud brick structure that they use in building houses there. And most of the houses, of course, immediately they cave in, they bury and destroy and kill the...
Like our cement and everything,
yes.
right?
So it's heavier. There are no what's it called? Iron in between those bricks when they use them for building. So it's just heartbreaking. But good news is that Spain, Qatar, and Britain are joining to help them to rescue more people. So I'm hoping that some more people will be found alive. But it looks bleak. The story recounts reports of those found dead from ages 7 upwards, and it's just heartbreaking. Yeah. That is with them right now.
Okay, and that's
so yeah, there was a report, a global report carried out by. The report is titled Open Barometer. It is by a non-governmental organization called Open Society Foundation, and it says that democracy remains the most popular form of government, that globally 86% of respondents in the survey wanted to live within a democratic place. They did a survey sampling 36,000 people from 30 countries, and the survey was carried out over a 3-month period, and they were trying to grade how people's response will be to various questions, check people across developed and underdeveloped and developing countries, from France to UK to Nigeria to Senegal to Sri Lanka, Tunisia, Turkey, all the different countries. And some of the things that the report revealed was that 86% of respondents prefer democracy to authoritarianism. And they also feel like they want to be in a country where they have freedom to express themselves. They want independent institutions. They want the minority to be protected. They want the judiciary to be supported. And they also wanted, they said that when they checked response from Nigerians, 92% of Nigerian respondents said they wanted to be able to live in a country that was democratically governed. But they also felt like they wanted a government that was dealing with corruption, dealing with human rights challenges and poverty and inequality. You know,
all right, moving on now to Vanguard, Federalism as Grassroots. 17 states run 323 local governments with caretaker committees. Brain drain, some departments in teaching, hospitals shutting down. Midcan raises alarm. FG wants to introduce new taxes, says Presidential Committee. Foreign rescuers join Morocco. Earthquake raised as death toll hits 2,862. Funding, federal government will grant varsities full autonomy, says Minister. Datkem Plaza demolition, no one is above the law in Ogun, says Abiodun. And Doyen of Accounting, Akintola Williams, dies as 104. Okay, let me take the tack. You want to take a story first?
Major headline.
Major headline, go ahead, please.
So sad, because, you know, we talk about democracy as if it were us who would do the right thing. So we have about 17 states right now in the country that have over 323 local governments running caretaker committee, and they renew every 6 months. They didn't do a proper election. They don't do elections. They don't know that, you know, that is a different arm of government that should be autonomous and independent of the state government. From state governors sacking, suspending chairmen within local governments and doing like investigation, anti-graft work for EFCC on the local government. Such frivolous excuses just to remove them and put people that, you know, they appoint into office. We have, worst case, the state of Anambra State. For over 10 years, since 2014, they have not elected any local government chairman in Anambra State. They've been running caretaker committees. Wow. And you know, the matter has gone before the Supreme Court. They've said that governors lack power to sack elected council officials. So they don't want them elected. It's continuing. Borno State, they had an election in 2017, but sadly, Boko Haram could not allow the transition in happen. So the governor is still appointing caretaker committees. And Imo State, those are the kind of things we need to annoying. Exactly. It's a major hot topic. I'm sure it has to be a hot topic. It has to be a hot topic. Let me take the taxes. So remember our friend Mr. Taiwo Idili, who comes to your view often. He, as you recall, he's the chairman of the Presidential Committee on the tax reform. So he was saying that chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform. Let me just get that right. So he was saying specifically, he was actually on Twitter yesterday, and he was just responding to various questions, and he was reminding Nigerians that the federal government doesn't plan to have additional taxes. What they're trying to do is harmonize all the agencies which are already backed by law to collect taxes, and have one singular agency which is responsible for collecting taxes. So we don't have multiple people calling you for different taxes. He said that many of the agencies would rather actually focus on their primary function, not about collecting money. So they would rather harmonize that. Also, he clarified that while the committee did not intend to introduce new taxes, also didn't want to impose higher taxes on Nigerians,
Their mandate, however, is to reduce the number of taxes and levies while harmonizing revenue collection to reduce the burden on people and businesses. So that was, and I like that he's talking to people on Twitter back and forth, because you need to clarify.
Engage.
You need to engage as the committees having their meetings, engage Nigerians on what you're doing. So we know, because remember they told the president 3 months, they'll give the initial reports on what the plans.
And they're implementing as they are going.
Yeah, so
I love
we'll wait for him to
soundbite.
So I wanted to take the Medical Association, Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, MIDCAM, have raised alarm over the consequences of brain drain. He said some of the nation's health institutions are shutting down because of the high rate of brain drain. He said his name is Professor Mohammed. He was briefing newsmen yesterday. He said, this was in Kano. He said, no fewer than 500 doctors with specialty in teaching have migrated. So that's the professors just
professors so we cannot even train doctors anymore.
That's what he's saying.
We can't train doctors.
According to the survey we conducted some 2 years ago, shows about 500 specialist doctors have left Nigeria. They are the ones that are involved in teaching and nurturing of new generation doctors from both medical schools and training specialists in Nigeria.
The sad part is, he said that some departments are shutting down. So some specialties, some universities don't have enough doctors. He said what 10 people should do, only one person is, they have just 2 lecturers that can handle it. And that in some, that the quality of doctors we're losing now, in 10 years, we have not recovered. Yes. And we're talking about teaching doctors. These are at the highest level. So if the governor is they're asking the government to step up, because this is not a case of let them go. If the students are going, fresh graduates are going, doctors are going, now your teachers and lecturers, medical lecturers are going, what would you have left as a nation? It is an emergency.
At Igbobi. So a neighbor had an accident on Sunday and she lost a leg. She was rushed to the Igbobi hospital, and response was the slowest.
Because there's nobody on.
Sadly, I just whispered to somebody, it might be the lack of doctors, because you know it's like a monopoly in itself. In the whole of West Africa, how many orthopedic hospitals do you have of that standard? So when you get there, you are waiting, you know there's a problem, there's a vacuum. So we need them to really test the situation as it is and react accordingly. Let's stop making empty. The last Minister for Labour was saying they can go. It's not like that. What we have now is an empty structure at Igbobi and not enough doctors, equipped with that knowledge.
And then the ones in the private hospitals, their own is just about money.
Money, serious.
They're not about the good.
Yeah, they got to buy the equipment, so you have to look at it.
But if they were giving you commensurate service to the money that they are collecting.
No matter.
Yeah. Okay, our final paper, the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. I think we've taken most of the story. FG orders probe of prosecution of killers of the 4-year female student. That was a really, really painful story of the young girl that was killed. Court orders Ogun government to maintain status quo on Daniel's property. Zenith Bank defies odds with triple-digit surge in H1 2023. UBA Foundation launches 2023 National Essay Competition. And Obasanjo, Atiku, Sanwo-Olu, others mourn as Akintola Williams 104.
Are you taking Akintola Williams?
Yeah, I was going to take that. The doing of accounting professor and the profession, Pa Akintola Williams, many of you know, passed on at the age of 105. He lived a very, very fruitful and a great life. And the president, amongst others, former President Atiku, Obasanjo, and even Governor of Lagos State have all sent in their condolences. And I mean, I'm just grateful that this is a man that is one of the oldest.
Yes, he lived well. He is the face of
statesman that we've had in a very long time. And really happy.
My heart goes out to his family. I know that even though everybody outside will feel like, oh, he lived long, he's 104, but still, yes, they would mourn.
His children are about 70-something.
But he lived long.
But his children are old.
He lived long.
But they will still mourn.
He's 5 years older than Momo.
My cousin is his nephew, so I sent him a text. We are sorry about your uncle. So I said, did he smoke and drink? Because 104 said, no, he didn't smoke, but he drank. I said, so I have hope.
Oh, God.
We have to run. That's how we can take. Like, you better find a way to stop.
Consoling yourself.
Hold your peace. Hold your peace. Let peace be held on this set.
Let's also go on a break. When we return, we go to the hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.